Remember when cryptocurrencies were bad? Yeah, that was before governments could use them to scan your eyes and capture your data. They'd never do that. They already are. Hello there, you 6.5 million awakening wonders. Thanks for joining me on this voyage to truth and freedom. Hit the notification bell and subscribe right now so we can build together a movement to confront this dystopian project that would enslave us all. Perhaps by introducing new government-approved cryptocurrencies where you get your eyeball scanned and your data sent straight to the government so that you can be observed and social credited to within an inch of your life. But why take my word for it when the mainstream media are already analysing it?
This silver sphere, now the subject of privacy concerns across the world.
Whenever you see a silver sphere, whether it's in 2001, A Space Odyssey or Brave New World, it's always a goodie. Oh look, a silver sphere. What's it gonna do?
An eyeball scanning machine.
It's just gonna scan your eyeballs and then give that data to the government. Is it gonna fillet me? Yes, but it's also gonna give that information to the government.
Promising to prove just how human a person can be in the fast-growing world of artificial intelligence. It's called the WorldCoin Orb, and it's the latest passion project by the founder of ChatGPT.
Passion? My new passion is this silver orb. Having created ChatGPT, I've now created this terrifying thing. It's strange, isn't it? Because we know that all of this technology is potentially miraculous. Like any tool, it has the potential for great benevolent utility, but also to become a persecutory tool of powerful globalist elites. What we were just observing is the trend and tendency. How is power and how are technological advances usually utilized in the modern world? Let me know in the comments if you've noticed any trends.
You need to confirm, yes.
It's a world of authenticity that works like this.
To start, simply download World app. To sign up, just find the nearest orb right on the app.
What do you mean? Like there's going to be orbs all around the place that'll just be floating around, like Coca-Cola machines, like vending machines in hospitals selling stuff. You think, shouldn't be eating this in a hospital, should you? Well, the orb says it's okay.
What this commercial fails to mention is the biometric data that is then collected in exchange for a digital ID. Some of those orbs found in Nairobi, Kenya.
Do you know what they're doing? They're piloting this in poor countries where people just don't have the time and bandwidth to go, hang on a minute, are they stealing our data? So they're willing to hand over their data because they've frankly got bigger fish to fry, or an incredible lack of fish to fry, perhaps more accurately. So essentially, they're piloting schemes that will be brought to us in the future once they've ironed out any difficulties with people that don't have a sufficient collective voice. Now, I'd ask you to cast your mind back all the way back to 2019 and notice what happened in China and how those systems were then replicated in Western countries. And notice how social credit scoring is slowly being introduced in subtle ways all around us. How through the implementation of vaccine passports, we begin to manage people's entrance into certain facilities. This is another advancement along those lines. In a way, you have to marvel at the ingenuity of the system. Something like cryptocurrencies comes along, which could be a threat because it allows independent trading and the bypassing of centralized currency. And within a matter of years, cryptocurrency is a great thing now because we can use it to steal information about your eyeball.
Over the last week, more than 350,000 Kenyans have already gotten their eyes scanned here by the device in Nairobi. New users exchange their biometrics for WorldCoin cryptocurrency equaling about $49 US.
Nilipata online.
One Nairobi resident saying in part, I found it online, applied. When I got here, I found people queuing, and I applied and they scanned, and now waiting for the money.
The people that are cooperating with this piloting scheme are the recipients of tokens in exchange for their participation. For those of us that live in Western countries or whatever you want to call it, our tokens are convenience. It's convenient. I don't have to muddle around in my wallet for half an hour producing a card. But in more desperate situations, a token which could be exchanged for, I don't know, food might be seen as an advantage.
Kenya's Communications Authority now questioning where the data is being stored and what WorldCoin is doing with that information.
They're collecting critical data about, quote unquote, say to be a good way for proof of humanity. How would this then increase the value in the short term? In the long term, perhaps if the demand for such kind of data increases, then we would say that it would be sold to the highest bidder.
We now know that information about us as consumers is the world's most valuable commodity. It's more valuable than oil, it's more valuable than gold. But for it to remain valuable, we have to sustain these systems. If we don't have a consumer society based on commodity and all of us continuing to spend money, then that knowledge and that information is less valuable. It's only valuable to private enterprises so they can sell us stuff, and to governments so they can control and regulate us. Those are the two areas where it's valuable. Plainly then, the vision is governments will continue to control and look for ways to introduce soft manipulation, social credit scoring, perhaps by practicing in Kenya. And corporations, no matter what they're saying about climate change and industry and a great need to change the world, are not altering their economic models one jot. So all of the stuff you're hearing about, we're going to radically change the world, we've got to alter the way we use resources because of this climate crisis or this humanitarian idea, they're not changing anything because we solely exist as vessels for commodity and product, and no one's changing that anytime soon. They're not investing all of this money into this Kenyan project so that they can just, I don't know, help some Kenyan people.
In a statement to NBC News, WorldCoin denies that it will or is selling any personal data and will, quote, work with local officials to increase understanding of the privacy measures and commitments WorldCoin implements, not only in Kenya, but everywhere.
Yeah, we'll work with local officials. Those local officials, they're going to stand up to the might of WorldCoin. Someone that's working in a village in Nairobi as a council clerk. I've noticed that you're stealing a lot of the data of our villagers. Yeah, here, I've noticed that you're poor.
Kenya is just the latest country to scrutinize WorldCoin's operation since they launched last week. Now there's growing questions around if what they're doing is even legal. Watchdog groups from countries like Germany, France, and the United Kingdom are investigating.
Watchdog groups are investigating it, not governments, because they don't care, because they'll be using it themselves any day now. Yeah. On you. As investors race to capitalize on surging interest in cryptocurrencies, startups are getting creative in how they onboard a generation of crypto users to their first wallets. In a sense, this is like, I don't know if it was the same in America, but for us kids in the UK, banks used to, at some point in your school career, turn up and go, we'll give you a bank account, and then you're just with that bank forever. They're just doing the cryptocurrency version of that on a global scale. So in Kenya, they're giving people a bunch of free accounts, and then they'll be able to come to Western markets and say, we have all this data, this is its efficacy, these are the difficulties we've ironed out, this is how you solve problems around privacy, this is how you parrot the right talking points so you can bypass that, these are the deals you make with governments saying, look, we'll share this information with you. Increasingly, isn't it obvious that in a globalist state where power is centralizing to an enormous degree, that if they have access to your information, if they have the ability to turn off your wallet, they're going to use it. Like, they'll just say you're a terrorist or there was an emergency. They'll just locate the necessary piece of language, emergency, terrorist, whatever it is, and then do what they want to do. The only way to prevent that happening is not to facilitate it, to ensure that these processes remain democratized. And democratized now essentially has to mean independent. Independent from the state, independent from Goliath corporate enterprises. WorldCoin is perhaps one of the most audacious efforts to bribe the world to embrace their currency. We're just trying to bribe the world to embrace our currency. You lovely little orb. How can I stay married to you?
Goodness gracious me.
The startup founded by OpenAI CEO Sam Altman and Alex Blania want to put a crypto wallet and some of their currency onto every human smartphone. But in order to do so, they have to build a way to determine whether someone is a unique human. WorldCoin is aiming to make their proof of personhood network in the least dystopian way possible. That being said, it still requires scanning 1 billion people's eyeballs with a £5 chromatic sphere called the orb. Obviously, it's going to be dystopian. You're agreed on that? Yeah, I'm agreed, but then I'm a robot. Dianne Feinstein? No, I.
Just say I. I.
Okay, so we're all agreed we're going to do this in the least dystopian way possible. Yeah. I present to you, this chrome orb scanning 1 billion people's eyeballs.
Pinky.
Well, that don't seem too dystopian. I say go with the orb. Dianne? No. You know what she meant.
I.
Have you noticed how the most crackpot conspiracy theories are closer to truth than the pious condemnation of those theories that usually is used to oppose them? Don't be ridiculous. You're not going to have a microchip inserted in your brain or a nanobot injected into your body through a medication. What about, I don't know, a chrome orb scanning my eyes, stealing all my data? Oh, no, we are doing that, yeah. Oh, Phew, what a relief. Scan me, baby. WorldCoin is a good example of private companies doing their bit to push and introduce digital ID schemes to as many people as possible, although this effort is usually done by governments and supported by various lobbies. A literal definition of fascism is where corporatism and the state align and bind to such a degree that there's no way for ordinary people, the populace, to confront that power. This is an example of the soft piloting of a social credit score system that will be used down the line to manage and manipulate populations at scale. How else would they do it? People are becoming more and more alert because of our ability to communicate, because of independent media, because of independent thinkers like you. So what they do now is go to some butt-fuck nowhere country, no disrespect, pilot a scheme out all nicely, and then by the time it arrives on your shores, by the time it's you being offered 50 crypto bucks to open your eyeball nice and wide for daddy, all of the wrinkles have been ironed out of the scheme. How is this any different from digital ID schemes that we've been discussing for the last 5 years and that have been dismissed as conspiracy theories? Don't be ridiculous. We wouldn't make you take medications, only allow you into certain territories if you have those medications. We wouldn't introduce 15-minute cities. We wouldn't introduce a chrome sphere that's going to scan your eyes and have all your data, then package that data and sell it around the world and then manage and manipulate your social habits and reward you for certain social behaviors and punish you for others. Are you doing that last bit? The last bit we are doing, and we will do the first bit in time when you've got used to the last bit. It's just a switcheroo. And now, WorldCoin has announced that it will be even more helpful to governments by allowing them to use the system of biometric scanning it employs to sign users up. Other companies will be given the same privilege. So in order to ensure that governments approve this new and invasive technology, they allow governments to use it. Wait a minute, that chrome orb scanning people's eyes, that's an invasion of their privacy. We'll let you use it. That chrome orb is the sweetest new household pet that I ever could have asked for. Does it do? No, don't do that, Senator. Oh, sorry. The intention is clearly to get as many people as possible on board, hence the generosity with sharing the iris scanning technique, as well as that designed to verify people's identity. And it's no secret, we're on this mission of building the biggest financial and identity community that we can, is how Tools for Humanity, a company behind WorldCoin, executive Ricardo Machiera put it. That's like making it sound nice. Would you like to belong to a financial and identity community? Oh God, yes, I would. Okay. My eyes! Just pop that back in now. The mission marches on despite concerns not only from privacy-focused non-profits and advocates, but also institutes in various countries that are tasked with protecting data privacy. But the people that are not-for-profit, i.e. not corporate, and people that are interested in protecting privacy think, whoa, is this not a problem? That tells you that this is eventually going to be a problem, but by then, it will be too late. People, and the number mentioned in reports these days is 2.2 million so far, sign up to WorldCoin by giving up biometric data contained in their eyes, i.e. irises. What they get in return is a digital ID, and citizens of some countries are incentivized to do this by being given some free crypto too. And this last point seems to play a major role in why anyone would sign up for this. Reuters said that a majority of those the agency spoke to in the UK, India and Japan said they were doing it to get the free tokens. Why are you allowing this terrible invasion of your privacy and your eyes? For money? And what about my new cryptocurrency? Stick it up your ass.com. Does it hurt? A little bit, but here's your token. But if you listen to what Machiera has to say, WorldCoin is clearly eager to build an image for itself of much loftier goals, not to mention ones that can turn controversial and fast. There are some ways WorldCoin can be used as mentioned on its website, providing a way to tell human from artificial intelligence, possibly paving the way for universal basic income, but also enabling global democratic processes. Well, of course it could be used for good. Of course it could be used for good. We could do all sorts of things for good, couldn't we? We could be creating utopias right now. We could be using the miracle of modern communications to create local democracies. We could be using industry to move food around where it's required. There's all sorts of things we could be doing, but we're not doing any of them because what we want to create is an authoritarian, centralized, globalist dystopia, as perhaps best symbolized by a chrome orb sucking information out of your eye hole and giving it to the government. Ah, sweet freedom. Can I get some eye drops, please? Yes, you can. That's going to be 50 tokens. Oh, here. Have that back. Nice doing business with you. I'm going to need your other eye. What do you say, Diane? Aye?
Aye.
So there you go. Cryptocurrencies are good now that governments can use them to observe you and steal your data, manipulate and control you. Notice how yesterday's conspiracy theories are today's realities, an ongoing theme that I know you've already observed. Sometimes do you think that they tell you a really, really crazy one to groom you for the less obvious but more insidious versions of conspiracies that are happening all around you? Let me know in the comments. The only way to oppose this is to demand individual freedom, community freedom and democracy. Old ideas that are simply ignored, like all of the ideas in this that could be benevolent to humanity will be. But that's just what I think. Why don't you tell me what you think in the comments while you still can, before your brain is sucked out through your eye hole. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at either of these, turn on the notification bell and subscribe right now. That is a minimal invasion in your privacy compared to what's coming. More important than any of that is that you please, if you can, stay free.